Hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm the only child of two genius-level humans who were probably solving quantum physics on their honeymoon. Naturally, they expected their kid to be just like them. Spoiler alert, I'm not. I wasn't just bad at school, I was on the honor roll of failure. My biggest enemy was math. Somehow, it always found the most humiliating ways to expose me. Like one time when I went on a date with a cute guy who liked me and went to get some ice cream.
I'll get a rocky road. What about you?
Cookies and cream. But don't even think about paying. I've got this. When I gave the vendor $4 bills, he started staring at me like I was a green-horned alien.
Total's $8. You gave me 4.
Wait, so I don't get change? As the vendor grew impatient, my date just gaped at me in disbelief.
Are you kidding me? Change? You're short another $4, miss.
Oh, right. I was just testing your maths. You passed. No one laughed with me. I felt so embarrassed when my date just pulled out his wallet and paid the rest of the money. Guess what happens after we got back from our date? He never talked to me again. And the same thing with all the guys I went out on dates with. Who wanted to be with a brain-dead girlfriend, right? If you got secondhand embarrassment from that incident, you'll probably faint from what happened at my parents' anniversary party, which I threw for them. Surprise! Happy 11th anniversary to the best parents in the world! I knew I had messed up somewhere when my parents looked like they were forcing themselves to smile. Tiffany, sweetie, we've been married for 17 years. No, you had me after you got married. I'm 17, so 11 years, right? I caught a few surprised glances, but I didn't pay them much attention.
Remember, we got married a year before you were born, sweetheart.
Oh, so it's actually your 1-year anniversary! The room exploded with laughter after I spoke, but my parents just face-palmed, unable to hide their disappointment. Once again, I became the punchline of the joke, right in front of everyone. My parents still love me, I think, but they argue a lot, especially when grades drop, which is always. John, we have to face it. Tiffany's just not smart. At this rate, she could never graduate from high school.
Don't say that. She needs help, not insults. Maybe if you were around more.
Oh, please, you could tutor her yourself if you're so concerned. My job is as important as yours.
Maybe I will. Or maybe we find someone her age. Someone she can relate to.
Yay, another tutor. Can't wait. In my lifetime, I've had about 30 different tutors, and it ended badly each time with the tutors getting frustrated, me not learning anything, and my parents getting angrier at me. I was so upset about my parents' decision that I went to visit the care home. I loved to be around old people and dreamed of having an old people's home when I grew up. Something about them gave me an inner peace I couldn't explain. But most importantly, my grandparents lived there and always knew what to say to cheer me up. Your mom told us about the tutor. She's just trying to help, sweetheart. I don't know. I'm just tired of everyone acting like my entire personality is failing. You're more than your grades, Tiff. Just keep an open heart. You never know what good might come from simply being willing. I took Grandma's words with a pinch of salt, but I had no idea how true those words would be. I went to school the following week with Grandma's voice echoing in my head, and that's when I saw him. Ryan, my high school heartthrob. He was so smart that he graduated from high school 2 years ago at 15. But why was he here? I got my answer the moment Mr. Conrad, our math teacher, dropped a bombshell.
I spoke with your parents about your grades. I know you're trying, but it's not enough, so I've set you up with a tutor. It's someone I think you'll respond to well.
I could guess who he was talking about before he even finished.
Ryan Carter has agreed to help you catch up before final exams.
I tried to act all cool about the news, but inside I was squealing like a K-pop fangirl. At first, I was totally against getting yet another tutor, but who would have guessed it'd be Ryan? I did a full 180 the moment I saw him. On the first day, I prepared as if it were a date and not a study session. Okay, don't see anything weird, smile, sit straight, and maybe don't look at him too long. In my head, our study session was going to be perfect, with me staring at his dreamy eyes while he gently made me finally get the deal with math. But I was in for a shock. He showed up 40 minutes late and didn't even apologize.
Hey.
Hi, come in. He didn't even spare me a glance, even after all the time I spent getting ready. But maybe he just hadn't noticed. Yet. Still, I kept smiling and led him to the study table, ready to start what I hoped would be my dream session.
So, what's your problem with math?
Mostly quadratic equations and some word problems. Actually, almost everything.
Right, okay. Here's the basic formula. Just plug in the right values and you'll be fine. Study the sample and solve this.
Wait, was he serious? He didn't even bother to ask if I understood him. And for almost 30 minutes, I just sat there frozen, my head spinning with thoughts. It was far from what I had imagined. Ryan wasn't the sweet kind of tutor I imagined in my head, and I didn't have the guts to tell him his teaching method was crass. And instead of solving the equation, I absentmindedly doodled all over the page. So when Ryan asked for the answer, all I could do was hand him the sketch-covered paper and brace myself for a scolding. But then Ryan did something so unexpected, it flipped my surprise into full-blown anger. What are you doing?
That should wake you up. Start focusing more on our lesson.
I thought maybe he would be better at other tutor sessions, but he wasn't. And I didn't want to tell my parents because they'd fire him on the spot. So I sucked it up. But one day he did something that pushed me over the edge. It was a Sunday, and I had just boarded a train to go visit my grandparents at a care home when I spotted Ryan sitting on the train too, and an old woman trying to talk to him. "Excuse me, young man, may I sit here?" What Ryan did next really shocked me.
I got here first.
He puts the earbud back in and leans back like nothing happened. The lady wobbles slightly as the train jerks forward. That's it. Are you serious right now? All eyes on the train turned my way, even Ryan's. I stormed toward him, fire in my steps. You're really gonna sit here while a woman old enough to be your grandma clutches a pole like she's on a roller coaster?
I don't owe her anything.
I see now. You're just a horrible person, a horrible tutor, and a horrible human. Does it thrill you when you treat other people like trash? Get up, now! With everyone on the train throwing nasty glances his way, like he was the devil, Ryan had no choice but to cooperate. Thank you, dear. You're welcome. Sorry about him. That was the first time I snapped at him. I didn't plan to, but at that moment I couldn't stand being silent anymore. When he failed to show up after school the following Monday, I thought he had quit and his tutoring was over. But the following day, I was surprised when he came. Ryan?
Yeah. Can I come in?
Even though I was still mad at Ryan for what happened, I had to admit that I missed him.
About that Sunday. I was a jerk. You were right. I don't usually get called out like that.
You weren't nice to her, but I was a bit too harsh too. I've got friends and grandparents her age. So when you spoke to her like that, I just snapped. You wouldn't get it unless you had someone like that close to you.
Actually, I do. I live with my grandma and take care of her alone. My parents passed away and I can't afford a care home or college. That's why I took this job. And 5 others.
My heart broke for him. He was working around the clock to take care of his grandma. No wonder he was always so cranky. I'm so sorry for assuming you were just a jerk. Can't you apply for the scholarship or something? I really thought you would be halfway through college by now.
You think I haven't tried? I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I always get rejected. So funding myself through is the way to go. If I can get enough funds, that is.
Don't stop hoping. I'm sure you'll get there one day. Just take one step at a time.
Thanks, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being such a crappy tutor. I'll try harder, if you'll still let me.
I wasn't sure I would be able to get better at math either way, but I was willing to give it a second chance. And I was glad I did. After that day, tutoring sessions with Ryan became better. He always explained it so well.
Solve the equation. 1/2 equals x over 6. What's the value for x?
I have no idea.
You'll have to bake, don't you? Great. Now think of it this way. If 1 spoonful of sugar is for 2 cups of flour, how many spoonfuls of sugar would go for 6 cups of flour?
3?
Exactly.
I never thought math could make sense until I saw it from a whole new angle. Pretty amazing, right? I was finally getting the hang of it. Ryan understood me. He made me realize I wasn't a blockhead. I just learned differently. Things have been looking up with my studies recently. A day before our final exams, I got so nervous I couldn't rest a bit. So I rushed to Ryan's house.
Tiffany, what are you doing here?
What if I mess this up, Ryan? My parents would never like me anymore. I would rather skip this final.
Don't stress too much, Tiff. Just do your best. Your parents are proud of you. And so am I.
I could feel my cheeks burning, but luckily, Ryan switched the topic right away.
You're in luck. My grandma's making a special soothing soup.
Ryan's grandma welcomed me with a sweet smile and a delicious-smelling soup. You're Ryan's girlfriend, right? Or dentist?
She's my student, Grandma.
Oh, how lovely. Eat up, sweetheart. This soup cures everything, except my memory. We both burst out laughing, and the warmth between us felt so comforting. Ryan's grandma's soup was hands down the best I'd ever tasted. I watched Ryan's grandma walk away, happily humming with her ladle, and I couldn't help but smile.
She forgets where her slippers are, but remembers everyone's favorite meal. Kind of like a soup-making oracle.
I've always wanted to open a care home, a place where people like her are safe, cared for. not forgotten.
Then you've got to pass, Tiff. You can't run a care home with charm and doodles. You need college. You need that degree.
I know. I just get so scared that I'll get an F.
Remember you once told me, never give up hope? Try and try again. I listened, and guess what? I was going to tell you this on your prom night, but I can't wait anymore. I got an offer letter from a university for a fully funded scholarship.
Congratulations, Ryan! But what about your grandma?
Since I won't be paying college fees, I just have to get a little more money to put her in the best care home around.
Seeing how Ryan's persistence finally paid off gave me the motivation to pour everything I'd practiced into the upcoming test, no matter the outcome. The atmosphere in the room grew hotter than ever. My determination wobbled when I saw the questions. I can do this. I didn't know every answer, but I didn't freeze. I did the ones I knew, then went back and tried the rest. The waiting period for my results was hell, but when they were finally uploaded, I didn't have a single F. They weren't A's and B's, and my math grade just narrowly got into the passing grade, but it was definitely enough to apply for college.
Well done, darling.
We are so proud of you. For the first time in my life, I truly felt seen by my parents. For once, I wasn't a disappointment. And that feeling, it was amazing. Something I hadn't felt in a very long time. My parents were so happy they threw me a party. They even brought my grandparents from the home to celebrate with us. But their best gift was what they had planned for Ryan. I couldn't help but blush when I saw him. Dressed in something other than his usual black, he was a whole different shade of gorgeous.
Great party, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't have done it without you.
She's right. We're truly grateful, Ryan. Tiffany mentioned you're trying to get your grandma into a home so you can focus on college? Yes, sir. It hasn't been easy, but I'm working on it.
Well, what would you think about moving her into the care home where my parents stay? It's the best in town. And don't worry, we'll cover the expenses. Ryan couldn't believe his ears.
I don't even know what to say.
Say yes before Mom changes her mind. A wave of relief hit me when he finally agreed.
Thanks so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Later, just as the party was dying down, I led Ryan away to somewhere it could be just the two of us.
Guess this is it. I'm out of a tutoring job.
I wanted to say something, but it felt like I had a lump in my throat that wouldn't let me. The air between us felt charged, heavy with things unsaid.
You were more than just a student, you know.
Good thing I'm hiring for a boyfriend then.
Is the position still open?
Only if you're okay with hard questions and late-night study dates.
I'm all in. Would it be okay if I gave you a hug?
I melted when he wrapped his arms around me. Everything felt right. I used to think that failing meant I wasn't good enough, but it just meant my journey would take a little longer and be a bit rougher. Making dreams come true doesn't belong to the smartest kids in class. It belongs to the one who refuses to quit.
Hi, Mia here. Not to brag, but since childhood, I've always been kinda a genius. I've already stacked up over 20 science-based awards, and by adding this one more trophy into my collection, I even got to skip a grade. Your achievements at such a young age are admirable. What's your plan next? Well, I've decided to drop out of school. Yep, that's my plan. With as impressive of a profile, I'm just one research paper away from being accepted onto the Space Up Astronomical Research Program. Why waste time on boring classes, right? But Mom and Dad didn't like the idea of me not graduating. So after a lot of compromises, I did get to move to Quebec with my grandparents for a year. But I still had to go to school there. And voila! Here I am in Canada, ready to conquer my dream. But why was there this angry crowd in front of my new home? They were screaming, cursing, vandalizing. My grandparents secretly signaled me inside the back way, then glumly told me how the crowd were parents of the children who got food poisoning after attending Riverside School summer camp. The problem was, the food was provided by my grandparents' farm, and now the school is threatening to file a lawsuit and doesn't seem to be open for negotiation. That can't be. There must be a solution for this. So gathering up my courage, I knocked on the principal's door. Do I know you? I don't think so, ma'am. I'm Mia Jones, granddaughter of Mr. Peterson, the rancher. Wait, Mia Jones from New York? Come in. The woman must have been Mrs. Robinson, the principal's wife. But does she know me? As soon as we sat down, she said, I will withdraw the charges for you. Oh, ma'am, really? I knew we could sort this out amicably. Oh, but my sweet child, I don't do charity. I know what you're capable of. So I will only drop the lawsuit if you make my daughter the top student at school. In other words, you'll exchange all test results with her. What do you think? What do I think? I think that's a crazy proposition. But if I didn't do this, then the farm would go under. So, with a reluctant nod, I agreed. Then I was immediately taken to meet her daughter. I was expecting someone snooty and spoiled, but to my surprise, this super smiley girl greeted me. Hey, I'm Eliana, but just call me Elle. I'm so sorry about my mom. She's got it into her head that I need to excel at school, since my dad is the principal. Elle hesitated for a bit, then continued. Also, there's Nora, the super smart daughter of my dad's ex. Mom doesn't want me to suck and Dad to favor this other girl over me, so... Thinking about it, my main purpose for coming here was to complete my astronomical research. I don't need any more A, so I smiled at Elle. Don't worry, I'll make sure you're the star student in no time. The next morning, I went to school with Elle, and wow, it looked so ancient and calm. Definitely distinctive from my stuffy school in New York. Elle introduced me to her friends, and they all seemed really welcoming. It's gonna be great here. Still holding the deal, I helped Elle answer the teacher's questions, exchanged assignments and homework with her, and soon, Elle had already climbed up to the top rank. On the contrary, I was at the bottom of the class. Oh wow, Elle's mom really wasn't kidding when she said her grades were bad. But that didn't matter to me anyway, 'cause the only thing I care about is this amazing astronomy tower. Talk about heaven! What are you doing here? I turned around to see Nora, the girl Elle had mentioned before, who is also the astronomy club's president. Hi, I'm Mia. I want to be part of your team. I have experience in studying astronomy and... Stop blabbering. Your grades suck, and we have a strict no idiots allowed policy. I told Nora to at least give me a chance to prove myself, so she sat me down and sniggered as she handed me an astronomy test. Easy peasy, I got all the answers right in just 10 minutes. But instead of welcoming me into the club, she accused me of cheating. Ugh! Nora didn't just dislike me, she also seemed to despise Elle too. Any chance she got to call us out on something, she would definitely take it. Sir, they're cheating! I just want to help Mia. Please, I'm so sorry. Huh? Who was helping who? Mia, you've got a lot of nerve. Your test is suspended. The whole class was giving me disapproving looks. Being this disrespected by my peers was a new experience for me. How could Elle tell lies so calmly? Great. Now that I was labeled a cheater, I would never get accepted into the astronomy club ever. Mia the cheater just had to find her way to get in there then. So, I waited until dark, then sneaked into the janitor's room to steal the key to the observation tower. Now I could freely study my favorite constellation without any interruptions. Montreal is close to the North Pole, so the night sky here is so clear that I could see all the stars. At this rate, my research could be done faster than expected. Then I would be out of here, leaving all of these childish rivalry dramas behind. One night, I was busy taking notes when someone opened the door and walked in. Who's there? Oh no! I hastily grabbed my papers and escaped through the emergency exit door. Who is the guy? Why is he here at this hour? The next morning, I pushed my way through the noisy crowd and saw the announcement on the school spinboard. The astronomy club warned outsiders not to use the observatory room and that there would be severe punishment once the recent trespasser was discovered. Shoot, the guy from last night must have snitched on me. Turned out the snitch was Brandon, the new transfer student, and also the grandson of the founder of Space Up. It's a shame the incredible Sir Edward Foster's grandson was such a smug jerk. But that didn't stop all the girls from going cuckoo crazy for this Brandon guy. The ironic thing is, he kept on coming over to me and talking about astronomy. Huh? Doesn't everyone here see me as an insignificant kid? Is this yours? Brandon said while holding out a piece of paper. Oh my, this was part of my astronomy research. Did I drop it in the tower that night? But how did Brandon know it was mine? Flustered, I quickly made an excuse and left. I couldn't stop worrying about Brandon finding out I was the one who used the observatory room. If anyone knows about it, it'd be an instant suspension. I was busy thinking when suddenly the whole class burst into applause. As it turned out, they were praising my excellent essay on constellations. Well, it's known as Elle's essay now. Then the teacher turned to read the class's worst essay. My favorite star is Justin Bieber. Every time I see him, I think if only he was my husband. Everyone started laughing. No prize for guessing whose name was on this one. Mia, I suggest you learn something from your friend Elle. I turned to look at Elle and saw her smug face. She even joined in with the others to make fun of me. Was she really that stupid to write that essay? Or did she intend to embarrass me? When I got home, Elle was already waiting on the porch to apologize to me. I helped you as promised. Shouldn't your mom keep her promise too? Get the lawsuit dismissed now, then I'll help you finish your final exam successfully. Else, I'm not doing it. She's on it, Mia. Don't worry. I know you're leaving after a year anyway, and I also know that you're the one who snuck into the observatory. So, if you want to leave peacefully, at least help me and Brandon to get together. You and Brandon? But what does it have to do with me? Elle then told me that Brandon was so impressed by her astronomy essay that he asked her out to discuss it further. But of course, she knew nothing about it, so she had a plan. I'll have my AirPod on, and you gotta stay on the line with me throughout the date so you could tell me the answers to his questions. If we become official, I'll buy you that telescope you bang on about so much. You know, that thingy-majiggy. Celestron telescope! Oh man, she really knew my weak spot. Alright then, we have a deal. That weekend, Elle and Brandon went for a walk in Jerry Park while I stayed at home eavesdropping on their conversation through the phone. I see you have a passion for the Astros, so why didn't you join the astronomy club? Just 'cause I'm busy with my studies, and I also have piano practice, you know. Really? Oh, in the paper, you mentioned the black hole Sagittarius A. You seem to have done a lot of research about it. Could you tell me more? Although Elle seemed frantic having me put words in her mouth, everything went pretty smoothly. Only one thing. The more Brandon and I talked, the more I realized we had so much in common. Even if it was through Elle, I still felt a connection with him. I thought everything was going well between them, but no. One day, Elle came to me in a fit of anger and said Brandon had turned down her love confession. I want you to go talk to him and figure out why. I need to know the reason. What? Why don't you just ask him? Because I'm me, Eliana Robinson. I don't ask such embarrassing questions. So I was the one who had to make the embarrassing move? Also, call me. I want to hear it myself. Gosh, this bossy girl. And so I had to drag Brandon to the quiet rooftop while my phone was secretly on a call with Elle so she could follow the conversation. Okay, let's get straight to the point. Why did you reject Elle? Because I like someone else? If you already like someone else, then why hang out with her? Because only when I go out with Elle, I can talk to the person I like. It's disappointing though. Why don't you recognize me? I quickly ended the call hoping Elle didn't understand what was going on. He already knew I was behind Elle's words all this time? It turned out Brandon had met me once in the city's ranking contest for students in 6th grade, in which I surpassed him and won the first prize. He'd never met a kid smarter than him in astronomy before, so when he saw me again at school, he instantly recognized me. Only he couldn't understand why my score was so low. Brandon wanted to talk to me, but he said that all he received was a cold shoulder. I felt a bit guilty, but it's all because he told the school administration I snuck into the astronomy room. But it turned out Nora was the one who reported me. Nora was there at the time too. By the way, why do you have to do Elle's homework? I told Brandon about my contract with Mrs. Robinson and apologized for not thinking about his feelings when I agreed to be behind his and Elle's date. I see. Follow me. There's something you should know. Brandon took me to see Nora. She didn't welcome me at first, but when Brandon told her about my secret, Nora immediately changed her attitude. I should have known. Someone like Elle couldn't make such progress. She and her mom are deceiving everyone again. Then, Nora told me how she was secretly investigating the food poisoning case because, on the day of summer camp, she saw Mrs. Robinson and Elle doing something shady in the school kitchen. Why should I trust you? Elle told me that you have it in for her, so maybe you're just trying to ruin her life. Please, why do I have to do that? Believe it or not, your precious best friend is trying to embarrass you in front of the whole school. What is this? In the lecture hall, Elle was sitting in front of a screen which said, Mia's grandpa poisoned us? We rushed to the lecture hall to find her there, telling people that my grandparents were the ones that catered spoiled food, and that I had no shame copying her works, cheating many times, and even stealing Brandon from her while they were dating. So she must have figured out that Brandon liked me, huh? Even so, why didn't she talk to me directly? How dare she make things up about me and my family? Before I could do anything, Brandon changed what was on the screen to a video of me winning the Young Minds Intelligence Contest. Everybody started buzzing when they recognized who I was. Someone even spoke loudly. I watched that show. Is that really Mia? Elle's face turned pale as people started doubting her. Then Nora snatched the mic from Elle's hand and said, "So, now we've made it clear that Mia isn't dumb at all. Then what about the poisoning at the camp? Did anyone find it strange how only Elle and her mother showed no sign of poison symptoms that day? That's because they were the ones who poisoned the food and blamed it on Mia's grandparents." The screen continued to show a clip of Elle's mom looking shady as she spoke to some man. She did all that just to ruin Mia's grandparents' good reputation. Then she would hire this man to buy the farm on her behalf for a ridiculously low price. What did you say? Oh my god, the principal has been standing at the door and witnessed everything. Everyone, out! When there were only 4 of us left in the room, Elle furiously shouted, "How dare you! You're just the outcome of your cheater mom, remember? Don't play dumb with me. You're well aware that my mom didn't cheat on Mr. Robinson, and that your mom is the one who lied to him to ruin his and my mom's wedding. And then what? Lying again that you're his daughter to force him to stay with her? You and your mom are awful people." Mr. Robinson stood in between them and stopped the argument. Oh, he didn't look too well either. Turns out he already knew Nora's mom was wrongfully framed and didn't cheat on him at all, and that's why he always tried to make it up to Nora. But learning that Elle wasn't his daughter was one big bombshell. After knowing what his wife and daughter did, he decided to resign. He made amends with Nora's mom and they're giving it another go. After the truth came out, Elle and her mom left without a trace. I say, good riddance to bad news. My grandparents were cleared of the food poisoning allegations and now their business is booming again. With Brandon and Nora's help, I collected enough data and finished my assignment with flying colors. Now to quit high school and pursue my dreams. Just kidding. I'm just going on a short trip to Montmegantic National Park to see the Northern Lights with Brandon and Nora. I've decided to stay and finish high school here, so I can continue pursuing my passion for astronomy with my 2 soulmates by my side.
Oh God! Can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream?
According to the poet, this world and all existing life is an illusion of sorts. As reality doesn't exist, philosophers refer to it as dream argument and dream hypothesis.
What? What an interesting lesson! By the way, look at how there's a ray of sunshine coming through the curtains. That's so pretty. This kind of weather indeed puts you in such a dreamy mood, huh?
Yeah, right. But remember, there is no rose without thorns. That sunshine may look glorious, but it will harm your eyes.
Yeah, I know. The maids always tell me that sunlight is the enemy for me. For my beautiful, sensitive blue eyes. Looking at it once, and I'll never be able to see anything again. That's why I've never been allowed to leave this castle. My maids all look identical in those masks, don't they? When I was a child, of course, I once got curious, and I pulled one of them off. As punishment, I was denied dessert for a whole week. And worse still, it wasn't worth it, as the maid's face was exceedingly ordinary. The masks looked far better. Anyway, I suppose all that matters is that they take great care of me. Each day they bring me food, water, and new clothes. I was sipping my leek and potato soup when I heard a scream. "Let me out!" Curious, I went and hid in a corner and saw 2 maids attempting to lock the screaming girl into a room. I've never seen that girl in this castle before. I wonder if she's from the outside world. Poor her. It looks like she can't control herself. The world out there is scary. Perhaps it has sent her into madness. It's much safer here in the castle. I can play all day, paint, knit, and read. Oh, how peaceful. But I still couldn't stop thinking about that poor girl. I wonder what will happen to her. The screaming didn't stop, and my curiosity got the best of me. So I snuck into the girl's room. Shh! Stop screaming. No one is listening. Who are you? My name is Mistress. What's yours? Mistress isn't a name. Are you stupid? It's just a name. Everybody here calls me that. This girl was so stubborn. She seemed to be wary of everything. Poor little outside world girl. After much persistence, she told me that her name was Nora. I was about to ask her why she was here, when suddenly 2 maids appeared and dragged me away. Mistress, you should not interact with this wicked girl, and you mustn't be late for your embroidery class. It was nice to finally get to talk to a girl my own age, and I must admit that given her brash nature, I found Nora rather interesting. During class, I kept thinking about how I could sneak out and see her again. Ah! Ouch! That annoying girl's screaming made me prick my finger. I ran out to check on her, but the maids immediately blocked my way. Perhaps I could talk some sense into her. Trust me, the last time I spoke to her, she was acting totally normal. The desperate maids exchanged looks, then let me go to her. As predicted, when I approached Nora, she stopped screaming. Hey, it's Ariana. That's my real name. Screaming never works here. Just pretend you're listening to my words, then I'll help you out. The maids were quite surprised when Nora immediately calmed herself down and showed signs of following directions, so they let us be and left. We began to chat, and ever since then, the maids let me see Nora every day. She told me how before her mother died, she gave Nora an address to find her biological father, who she'd never met before. Nora's grandma helped her set up a meeting with him and took her to the meeting point. She was so nervous, but happy at the same time to finally meet her dad. And at first, he was as kind and charming as she imagined. But then unexpectedly, right after they said goodbye to her grandma, he brought Nora here and let those masked people lock her up. But you're fortunate to be here, as it's safe. No, it's not. That's just what they want you to believe. Then Nora told me about the outside world, about her friends, school, and shopping malls. Every day, she even drew me paintings of the outside world, of beautiful memories with her family, her mom who passed away, and also her dad, even though she only met him once. Family? What is that? All I'd ever known were the faceless maids. The next day when I visited Nora as usual, she suddenly told me, "Sis, we need to get out of here." What do you mean? This is my home. No, it's not. It's a prison. Who on earth stays inside for 14 years, huh? It's because of my eyes. I'll go blind if I go out there. My maids only want the best for me. That's why they keep me here. Are you crazy? You've been tricked. Just think about it. Do you know who gave birth to you? And why did that person leave you with these people? Or are these people the ones who took you away from your mom? Don't you want to find out the truth? This was my home, wasn't it? But thinking about what Nora just said, as well as the outside world that she rambled about every day, I suppose it would be interesting to experience it for myself. I'd just have to try my best to protect my eyes. So, I snuck into the housekeeper's room and stole the front door key. As we approached the main hall leading to the door, we saw a masked woman standing by a man. In his arms was a young girl, deep asleep. Huh? That's my dad. What? Did he come to pick you up or something? Don't you see that they're all in the same boat? And she's the ringleader. I peered closer at them and spotted the masked woman's silver hair and luxurious dress. Isn't that my tester? She lives in the grand suite and visits me weekly to assess my learning and etiquette.
Mom, how are you going to handle this case? Just leave her in the empty room at the end of the hallway. As for Nora, I think she'll settle in properly in a week or so. Then we can start her etiquette and culture lessons. Which Nora? Ah, I remember. Besides, you should restrict yourself a bit. Ariana, Nora, and now this child? Don't let the list of your illegitimate children be as long as your arm. Then you can just throw them away somewhere. Why bother raising them? They are my grandchildren, after all. They can't end up like those street rats. And who knows? They may become useful, but this has to be the last one. We can't risk Laura finding out about us. It would ruin our family's affluent name. Do you understand? I know, but fear not, as my wife is kind and foolish. She is completely clueless to these matters, thanks to your smart move.
So, we were this heartless man's illegitimate children? And because of his deceit, he was forcing us to live in darkness? I don't want to be locked up and lied to any longer. We needed to escape. From then on, Nora kept her act up and behaved like an angel, which eventually led to us being allowed to study together. And today is the day.
Oriana is having a convulsion! We must take her to the hospital as soon as possible!
However, the maids called the doctor to come around here instead. No! The plan was to escape when we were taken outside. If the doctor came here, he'd discover that my rashes were painted on and our plan would be disclosed. Okay, plan B. I was still lying on the bed playing the whole role of a patient, while Nora locked the door of the room and went to the bathroom screaming.
Help! There's a giant spider in here!
As expected, the doctor went to check. Then Nora immediately locked him in. Then we quickly took the knotted string made of the fabrics in embroidery class out from under the bed, and then escaped through the window. Ah! I got my head between my hands as soon as I landed. I didn't expect it to be so bright outside. It's burning my eyes, Nora!
What? There's no time for your hysterics. You'll be done if you're stuck here anyway. Just open your eyes and run! Hurry up!
But I'm scared! Huh? Nothing happened. My eyes seemed fine. But no time to celebrate, as then I saw... Oh my god. A couple of maids were chasing after me. Nora pulled my hand and ran towards the garden. Fortunately, we were already out of their sight when...
Woof, woof!
A huge hound appeared out of nowhere and growled at us. I crouched down in a bush and watched Nora wave the dog closer, and then pat him. What? Magic! The dog suddenly became unusually obedient and led us to a secret place. A dog-sized passageway. I hesitated, but seeing the maids gaining on us, I reluctantly squeezed through it real quick. I can't believe I'm putting my destiny in the hands of this reckless girl. She said we had to get to her grandmother's house right away for help. What are those things running back and forth on the road? Why are they making that loud, annoying noise? And why is Nora waving her arms about? Did she want them to stop? Too bad nobody did, as she's no princess. We kept wandering until we saw something which Nora called a truck parked on the roadside. She rushed over, then helped me onto the back of it. Oh, it was full of bananas. I stuffed my mouth full of them to ward off my starvation, while the scenery kept changing. That thing stopped, and we immediately got off before getting caught. I held her tight, frightened of all the people around us. They kept staring at me. And what kind of style was that? They all looked very peculiar. Maybe they were just commoners. Then we used our power to demand a man to take us to Nora's grandma's. Oh, it was exhausting. What? The outside is actually beautiful, sparkling with all those lights. And there are exhibitions of everything in the world, such as food, toys, flowers, and even creatures. Yes, everything. But the most important thing was that my eyes didn't get sore looking at those shiny things at all. Nora's grandma seems kind, but her home is full of the strangest of items. While Nora told her what had happened, I found myself bewitched by the talking black box on the wall. Suddenly, Nora's grandma led us to her far smaller truck and took us to somewhere called the Cops. They all wore these same funny outfits and bombarded us with dozens of confusing questions. And what exactly is an ID card? A few days later, there was news that the cops had caught my so-called dad, grandma, and maids also. As predicted, he was a womanizer, so when his lovers asked him to support his children, he was so afraid that his wife would find out that he took these children and locked them away in the castle. They're currently awaiting something called a trial, which Nora says is where bad people get their comeuppance. Whoa! The world outside is so busy! I didn't realize there'd be so many unmasked faces. And that strange talking box still startles me, especially when someone is holding a weapon. Nora says when I've adjusted to my new life a little more, I'll start school with her. And one day I'll even learn how to drive one of those smaller trucks. But firstly, she's teaching me how to dress like other people do. And use this brick to communicate with them. This world is puzzling. But I'm sure with Nora's help, I'll soon find my feet. Even if it's just so I can learn how to reply to my dashing neighbor.